Back at you with more Keanu-thon today, talking about and reviewing the 1988 comedy The Night Before, which stars Keanu Reeves. You also have Lori Loughlin in the film, which they did the Brotherhood of Justice, and I reviewed that, so they reunite here. And this is a fun little comedy. This is where, you can say Keanu, um, you know, sort of displayed some comedy that, this guy can do some comedy as well. And, a year later he would do Bill and Ted, which is interesting when you look back at this time because in this year, 1988, he did this movie. He did Permanent Record, which I'm reviewing next. That's a good flick. The Prince of Pennsylvania. And then a year later he would do Dangerous Liaisons, Bill and Ted, and Parenthood. So, yeah, Keanu was busy at this time. And like I said, this is a fun little comedy. Sort of, it has that John Hughes type of vibe to it. Like if John Hughes directed a movie with Keanu, it would sort of look like this. Um, and the plot's pretty basic. I mean, you have our main character, Winston, who is played by, Keanu Reeves. And he wakes up in the middle of this alleyway in the rough part of town. He's wearing a beat-up tux and a little carnation. And he's trying to figure out how he got there. This guy wakes him up. And, in the first half of the film, Keanu's going around, the rough part of town, trying to figure out, what's going on, how he ended up in this alleyway. And again, he's all sort of rough looking and beat up. And he starts to have flashbacks to the night before. That's where we have Lori Loughlin's character. And they were going out to the prom. And as we go along with Keanu's character, like I said, he starts to have flashbacks to what happened the night before. Meanwhile, you have this character, Tito, that's looking for Keanu's character, Winston. And Keanu's trying to find answers. And you figure out that the night they were going to prom the night before, they went to this bar where the bartender is played by Debo himself. Yeah, Zeus. Yeah, Tiny Lister, Tommy Tiny Lister, the bartender, gives Keanu a drink and it fucks him up. And long story short, Keanu Reeves' character sells Lori Loughlin to this pimp, Tito. So from there, when Keanu kind of figures stuff out, what happened the night before, he goes after Lori Loughlin to get her back home. And that's where you have some shenanigans and, the rough part of the city. Keanu trying to get to Lori Loughlin. And you have a couple of scenes in there which is funny. I mean, like I said, this character Tito's looking for Keanu. There's this one scene where he's about to get robbed. And when the thugs, figure out that the money that he has in this tuxedo is from Tito, they back off. You have a scene where they're in the nightclub and, Keanu's on stage, talking about Tito and how the guy's stupid. And, like I said, he's trying to get his girlfriend back and Tito wants him dead. And he's trying to figure out again what, more so in the first half, he's trying to figure out what happened to him, like how he ended up here in this alleyway and, again, prom night, they went into the rough part of town and that's where things, go wrong. And that's pretty much the plot of the film. I mean, pretty straightforward. And like I said, this is where, Keanu started to display some comedy, sort of playing a dork here. You can see a little bit of, kind of that Bill and Ted, but not so much. But, Keanu Reeves, I liked his character here. You can tell he was having some fun here. Playing this character, Winston, sort of a nerd, again, sort of a dork. And throughout the film, again, he's trying to figure out what's happening. Why is this guy Tito after me, this character, this pimp? Lori Loughlin, she's good. She's good in the film. Good support. I mean, of course, from Full House and all that scandal that happened later. She's good here. Good support. But Keanu is our lead character, and again, he's a sort of a dorky kid, the nerd, and he's going around town, and yeah, I have some scenes here, but kind of wrote down some notes. Get it straight here. But and then you got some fun scenes throughout the film where again, he's, for example, like towards the end where Keanu finds Lori Loughlin, and you got this character Fat Jack, that Keanu goes to this apartment, and Fat Jack is coming up the stairs, and fun little scene there where Lori Loughlin is handcuffed to this headboard, and Fat Jack comes in, and just a fun little scene where Fat Jack and Keanu's character sort of get into it. They have a little fight, and Keanu pushes on the door, and knocks Fat Jack over. And because the floors are rotten in this hotel or apartment building, Fat Jack, bam, 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 goes through the floors. So that was a little fun scene. And again, like some appearances in here, some interesting faces. I mean, Debo, I mentioned him. He's the bartender in this movie from Friday. Another actress that I recognized, the girl who played Rhonda, Theresa Saldana. I recognize her. She was in I think she did an episode of MacGyver back in the day, but aside from that, she was in The Comish with Michael Chiklis, Raging Bull. She was in that. Wow, she passed away? I did not know that. So apparently she passed away. But she was in The Comish with a Michael Chiklis. She played the character Rachel. She was also in New Kids on the Block as a voice. Doesn't say what character she played. It's unfortunate though. Didn't know she passed away. But, she was good in the film. The character of Tito, who again is this pimp, he's played by Trinidad Silva, who's also passed away. He passed away the same year this film came out. And he was in The Jerk. He was in Colors as the character Frog. And I'm trying to figure out what happened to him. So apparently the guy that played Tito in the film died while UHF was being filmed. The driver of the other vehicle pleaded guilty to drunken driving and vehicular manslaughter. His wife and son suffered minor injuries in the accident, but unfortunately he passed. So that's sad. I mean, you have a couple of people that worked on the film that passed away. Michael Green as Lori Loughlin's dad. I recognized him. He was in Batteries Not Included, To Live and Die in L.A., and he's still around. But I recognized him, Michael Green, the brother of Keanu's character in the film, Chris Hebert. I recognized him. He was in The Last Starfighter, so I recognized him. But overall, good cast. And like I said, get some fun scenes in there where I mentioned the character of Fat Jack, and this one scene where this guy steals Keanu's car, where it belongs to his dad, and he's kind of going around town, going around the city, and he has the music turned up. The film was directed by Thom Eberhardt, which this guy, before this, he directed Night of the Comet, which I haven't seen, but I would like to check out. Without a Clue, which I've never seen, Gross Anatomy. He also directed Captain Ron. That's a good comedy. And he also is a writer. He wrote Night of the Comet. He wrote this movie, Honey, I Blew Up the Kid. But like I said, he did write and direct Captain Ron. That's a good movie, so good comedy. I thought he did a good job here directing. You know, he directed a fun little comedy. Sort of has that, again, you know, John Hughes type of vibe to it. Like it feels, you know, John Hughes alike. Like if he did a movie with Keanu, this is, you know, this is what it would sort of look like. And it was written, yeah, let's see. Yeah, like I said, written. Also, this guy, Gregory, apparently he had another guy in the hand, like in hand with the screenplay. So you have two writers with the film, Gregory Sherrick. And this guy, it seems he didn't want to do too much. He worked on Melrose Place as an assistant editor, but you know, for the most part, you know, Thom Eberhardt, you know, wrote and directed this movie. Like I said, I thought he did a good job directing. And the box office, I mean, doesn't really say. I mean, I'll get on my face. But even I can't find a lot of information about the film, even on Wikipedia. It says it came out April 15th, 1988. But I don't know if I'm trying to look for box office and there's no information on it. As far as the trivia, Dylan McDermott auditioned for the role of Winston, Keanu's character. Yeah, I mentioned Keanu and Lori Loughlin played a couple in the TV movie The Brotherhood of Justice. And this is one of the two theatrical feature films directed by Thom Eberhardt that were first released in cinemas that year. This film and Without a Clue, which again I haven't seen Without a Clue, but that stars Michael Caine and Ben Kingsley, so he did that. But yeah, I mean, I can't, for some reason, can't find any box office on the film or information of that sort. But again, I'm looking on Wikipedia right now and I don't really see a whole lot of information on the film. But I mean, like I said, I say at the end of the day, you know, with this movie The Night Before, I'm just going on and on here, but this is a fun little comedy with, you know, Keanu Reeves. And, you know, him, again, in this rough part of town, you know, trying to figure out what happened. And he's wearing this beat-up tuxedo, and Lori Loughlin's his, you know, girlfriend or his date. And he's trying to look for her. And, yeah, so overall with this movie, I mean, like I said, I think it's a fun little movie. So that's my review of The Night Before. And next, I'm going to be reviewing Permanent Record, which I liked. So stay tuned for that, and we'll see you later.